Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development on occasion of World Social Work Month and World Health Month 2022 and commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and also International Conference on Social Work and Sciences towards One Health and Sustainable Development 2022 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. We welcome you all once again to the International Webinar Series. So before we start our proceedings, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's session. Today we have with us Srimati Mahalakshmi Rajgopal. She is a holistic wellness professional, energy healer and trainer, counselor, certified social auditor and certified POSH trainer. And she is part of Armed Forces fraternity, working for lesser privilege, has been very close to her heart. She has published various papers in the field of counseling interventions for children, adolescents, and caregivers, national and international journals, more than 25 years of experience in mental health space, working intensively in the wellness spectrum. So we welcome you, ma'am, to the International Webinar Series, and we request you to take over for the session on energy healing. You can unmute yourself and start your video.
Yeah. Good evening, one and all. Thank you very much, Dr. Ravindra, for this opportunity. It was a beautiful start with seeking the blessings of the Almighty today, this session. Welcome you all to the session on introducing chakra healing as an integrated intervention. So this is my slide visible?
Yes, ma'am. You can continue.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have been in the space of counseling and individual interventions as well as training for more than 25 years. And to just give you a small brief, it was in my first job after my MSW in Chennai is when I was first introduced to these forms of intervention when I took up the job through campus interview in 1992 with an NGO which was working in the non-drug therapy center. And the center was being run by a nun. And so this was a real eye-opener to me. First and foremost, I realized that healing modalities were not religion-based. Healing modalities were being used way back then, since 92, which is 30 years ago. for various ailments, and there were reliefs. I learned certain techniques then on the job. Foot reflexology, acupressure, Jin Shinto were some of the techniques which I had learned and which I used to use in client care when I was at work. Where we used to talk about these techniques whenever we used to visit villages on our field visits. And slowly that was how my interest in this space developed. And I got into a very structured form of learning and training in this modality from 2000. And being a medical and psychiatric social work student, I could very easily and beautifully connect and understand how chakras help in working towards better mental health. So today I am introducing energy healing or chakra healing as an integrated intervention for here, though I'm going to talk specifically about mental health, but I would like to start off by saying that all these interventions, these healing modalities work beautifully as supportive technique for both physical ailments as well as emotional ailments. So to start off with, since we are talking about chakra healing, what is an aura and what is energy healing? Aura is, we are all surrounded by an aura, and aura is nothing but the energy field. Every living being has an energy field. It is not just restricted to humans, every living being. So which means plants do have an energy field, animals do have, and of course we humans do. Now, aura is nothing but the energy field which is extending from within our physical body and extends out into beyond our physical body. Now, this is what we call it by different names. We may call it aura, we may call it energy field, we may call it pranamaya kosha, we may call it the bioplasmic body. Right, and the intervention that is being provided to the energy field is what is known as energy healing. And if you can see this picture, you can see the human body in between, in center, and then you have the different colors in the shape of an egg. Right from that yellow color is where the aura starts, and the aura is extending up to the light mauve color that you are able to see in the picture. So an aura of a person can be flexible, can be changing from moment to moment depending upon what we are absorbing in the form of thoughts, words, emotions. It could also be because of what we are absorbing into our physical body in the form of contaminations, in the form of germs, and all of these things has an impact, and the aura keeps changing. It can expand, it can contract, it can get depleted, it can get congested. So we look into that a little later. So energy healing is nothing but treating the aura, treating the energy field. So what are the principles or based on which this energy healing techniques have been based? We all exist if energy exists. It's not that energy exists because of us. We exist because of energy. So we do not exist if energy doesn't exist. So to sustain, we need energy. That is the first principle. Every living being has an ability to heal itself. Now, many a times you might have seen a street dog or a stray cat will have an injury. And after some time, when you see that animal is healed, many times even we do not even apply any medicine, and the small cuts and scratches that we do encounter get healed by itself. So every living being has the ability to heal itself. We are all connected by the medium of energy. We have a connection which we may not recognize. Have we not all had this experience of, we think of a person and the person may call you or text you, or we may think of the person and the person comes in some way to meet you. Now, that is because we are all connected by the medium of energy. Energy follows thought is the next principle. What does this energy follow thought mean? Energy follows thought is once again how our thoughts get manifested. You may think of, probably going to a particular place, or you think of, having some nice meal, and you realize that that manifests. That is because energy follows thought. Energy flows from a higher level to a lower level. Now, many a times we realize that irrespective of which place of worship it is, but when you go into a place of worship and when you come back, you do feel rejuvenated. You do feel much activated. Sometimes what happens is we may meet some people, and irrespective of what is the kind of conversation you're having, after those people leave, you feel drained. Now, what happens here is energy follows from a higher level to a lower level. Somebody has a point somebody's raised their hands. Yes.
We shall take it up at the end of the session. No?
Yeah, sure. Energy may be strengthened or weakened or disintegrated. Energy can never be destroyed. Energy can only be strengthened, it can be weakened, or it can be disintegrated. Energy can always only be, we do not create it, we do not destroy it. We are only strengthening it, weakening it, or disintegrating it. These are the principles based on which energy healing functions. Have we also not experienced many a times situations where many of our houses, families will be practicing the Nazar Utarna, which we call in Hindi, or in Tamil we say Drishti Chutarda. Now, what is this practice? This practice is nothing but clearing the negativities. There are other practices that we follow. We may be putting a limestone on top of our in front of our house. We may put a pumpkin in front of our house. Now, all of these things are practices which are meant to clear negative energies. The other traditional practices, we pray for a loved one who is not in our presence. The person might be in another country or in another state, but we pray for the person. What do we believe? We believe that our prayers will have an impact on that person. Now, that is because the energy follows our thought. Our thought is well-wishing or good wishes for the person, and we believe that the wishes will come true. I've already mentioned feeling uncomfortable in the presence of some people, experiencing some upliftment in mood and energy on visiting places of worship. Now, these are all the different experiences with regarding energy healing in its own way. We might not have called it in a structured way as this is what is energy healing, but we have been practicing a form of energy healing for generations and generations in our society. And this is true of all societies. So when we go a little more deeper to understand what all comprises of this aura or the energy field, there are just two things. It's a very huge and a vast topic, but I am trying to give you everything in a small nutshell in just this 1 hour. So I'm just giving it in a very brief way. And as I already mentioned, I'm only referring and going to talk about how we can work on the energy field with regarding mental health. So the energy field has got two parts. One is the meridians, the other is the chakras. What is the meridians? Meridians are nothing but the energy channels through which the energy flows. What are chakras? Chakras are junctions where meridians meet, and they are revolving energy centers. Is this part clear? May I go ahead? So we are going to here talk about 7 important chakras. Now, in the energy field, and many of us are aware, especially in our prayers, we do come across the 7 major important chakras. But with regarding healing and intervention, when you go deeper, the aura has got many, many major chakras, minor chakras, and mini chakras. I repeat that The aura, the energy field has got many major chakras, many minor chakras, and many mini chakras. To put it in a very easy and a simple way, when with reference to our physical body, every joint has got either a mini chakra or a minor chakra, or definitely, right? So you have, if you take even your hand palm, you have a mini chakra in the tips of your fingers. You have very mini sub mini chakras even in the joints, right? You have a minor chakra in the center of your palms. So it goes on that way. But right now we are going to talk about 7 major chakras, which most of us are very familiar with. And I'm going to refer to the physiological function as well as the psychological function of each of this chakra. The position of the chakras also I'll be referring to. Now, when we are referring to the position of the chakras, we generally have this practice of referring it on our physical body, right? But when we refer to it on our physical body, it doesn't mean that the chakra is on the physical body. So this is just a reference point. But if I say that the crown chakra is in the top of our head, it means it is in the top of the energy body. The energy body is probably, on an average, it is about 5 inches from the physical body extending out. So that means it would be 5 inches above the head. Now this is average, and this can vary for every person. Person to person, it can vary. So this is the crown chakra. The physiological function of the crown is to take care of the brain. The psychological function is, it is a center for awareness. So when we talk about center for awareness, awareness means being aware about not just your own self, being aware of your physical self, your emotional self, being aware of your environment, being aware of your thought processes. So your crown chakra, the more and more it gets developed, it helps your awareness also to be strengthened and to be enhanced. The more and more the crown chakra gets enhanced, your attachments to your emotions, attachments to your thoughts processes also starts diminishing. Now, the next is the Ajna chakra. The Ajna chakra is in the center point in between your eyebrows. This is the physiological function is, it is the master chakra and takes care of your endocrine system. The Ajna chakra, the psychological function is, it is the will center and it is a center for intuition. So your intuitions develop if your Ajna chakra is well developed. It is the center for focus, determination, and it helps you to be centered. The throat chakra is at the center of your throat. So once again, I'm referring on my physical body, but please remember it is not on your physical body, it is on the energy body. So the throat chakra is responsible for the thyroid gland, the voice box, the windpipe, and the foot pipe. It is the center for expression and communication. It is a center for creativity. The heart chakra is, the physiological function is the heart, the respiratory system. The psychological function is a center for higher emotions. The solar plexus chakra is just below the heart chakra. It is below the lungs. It is in the hollow between the rib cage. Now, the solar plexus chakra is for the lungs, liver, gallbladder, diaphragm, respiratory system, and the digestive system. It is a center for self-oriented emotions. So what is the difference between center for higher emotions and center for self-oriented emotions? The higher emotions would be unconditional love, compassion, empathy, whereas the self-oriented emotions would be, to achieve willpower, courage, things which will help you to grow, will help you to move ahead in the materialistic world, the center for self-oriented emotions. The navel chakra is for the digestive system and the reproductive system, and the psychological function is creativity, procreation, and sensuality. Root chakra is at the base of the spine, and it is for the skeletal-muscular system and the circulatory system. And psychologically, it is a center for survival. It helps in being grounded, being more realistic. So if you want to become more realistic, more grounded, we need to focus on developing the root chakra. Any questions here?
Ma'am, please continue.
Yeah. So, so what happens is generally when we are talking about any kind of an ailment, any kind of a issue, the aura gets affected, and when we are not treating the energy field, it has an impact on the physical body or the mental body. So when we are talking about chakra healing, you can use it as prevention, you can use it as an intervention, and of course, you can use it for promotion of better health. When I'm talking of better health, I'm talking about physical health and mental health. So when I'm talking about prevention is where I'm saying, first what happens is the energy field is the one which gets affected. How does the energy field get affected? The energy field can either absorb contamination from the environment, and as a result of which it can get contaminated, or because the energy field has certain leaks, it can get depleted. Now, in either way, the energy field is affected. So, and another thing is because of the contaminations, the meridians can get blocked. Now, when the meridians get blocked, the flow of energy into all the chakras will get affected. So, when the chakras are affected, the chakras are either congested or they get depleted. And there are further analysis and diagnosis also is made where you can see that the chakras, which as you can understand from the word chakra, which means round and spherical, the shape of the chakra will also get affected, and they may get elongated in either way, like, horizontally or vertically. Now, all of these things indicate that the energy field is affected. Now, when the energy field is affected and it is left at this stage, when we give the intervention to the energy field, we will be able to prevent many ailments from manifesting into the physical body and the mental body. Now, when we let it go, this is when, based upon where and how the chakras and the energy field is affected, the physical body or the mental body or both get affected, and ailments are manifested in the physical body as well as the mental body. Now, in this situation also, while the physical body or the mental body, whichever is affected, is getting treated directly through the regular system of treatment, if we provide healing to the energy body, this will act as a complementary or a supportive intervention, and it will hasten and the rate of healing of the physical body as well, or the mental body. Now, that way we can reduce the illness period for the person by providing healing as a supportive intervention technique. The third one is promotion. So irrespective of whether you are sick, whether you're not sick, whether there is a huge malfunctioning in the energy field, if we regularly provide healing to the chakras and the energy field, we can maintain the wellness of the energy field. And by maintaining the wellness of the energy field, we will be able to maintain the wellness in the physical body as well as the mental body. Now, in spite of when we are continuing to maintain the wellness, if at all there is some kind of an ailment or anything which affects the physical body or the mental body, the rate of recovery is definitely much, much higher. Right now, in the regular process, because as we continue with the treatment, as we continue healing using the energy, using this technique, we would realize that slowly it is something like, we are regularly polishing something, and so then that particular lamp or something starts shining. So the same way, when we are regularly handling or regularly treating our own chakras and our energy field, these centers, what I have mentioned in this slide, the center starts getting enhanced, getting strengthened, as a result of which you will automatically see that your nature, your weaknesses, your limitations are also reducing, are getting limited, and your higher selves, the truer selves, start getting manifested, and they start enhancing themselves. So in the materialistic world, you will see there is a huge change in the way you are perceiving things, the way your behavior is, the way you respond to certain crises and situations. You will start seeing a positive change. Now, as we move ahead and we start growing this way and we start evolving, you will also see that many of your skills also starts getting enhanced and strengthened. And this would help you on a day-to-day basis in your personal life as well as your professional life. So to move ahead, now, this is something which I have, analyzed and I have brought it forward. Most of you would be familiar with positive psychology. And in positive psychology, we have these 6 character strengths. We have 24 character strengths, which are actually divided and classified under these 6. Groups. And if we want to look at it from that perspective, if we want to develop each of these strengths, then what are the chakras that we need to work on? So if we realize, or if we recognize that, yes, wisdom is what I need to improve upon, then I would need to work on the Ajna, crown, and the throat chakra. If I want to work, I realize that I have a lot of fears, I have a lot of insecurities, I need to develop my courage. Then the chakras that we need to work on would be root, solar, and the Ajna. If I feel that I need to become a more humane person and I need to work on that, characters need to develop, then the heart, throat, and navel is what needs to be worked on. Justice, I'm not a very rational person. I'm not able to be really fair, and I generally become very impulsive, or I tend to slide to somebody, etc. In that case, I need to develop on my strength, which is justice, and I would need to work on crown, Ajna, root, and throat. Temperance, working on my temperament, would be root, navel, and throat. Transcendence, I'm very aware that and I'm very focused in evolving and becoming a better person, then it would be crown, heart, and root. So we could actually connect the concept of positive psychology to aura healing to understand this aspect. Now, to go back to the previous slide, if we are talking about different kinds of ailments, just like how right now with regarding positive psychology, I spoke about if we want to develop specific character strengths, then we need to work on specific chakras. The same way, whenever we are having some kind of an ailment, it would not be that just one chakra is affected. We would need to work on multiple chakras. So to take it a little further, a person who has a lot of fears and insecurities, who is not very stable and who can easily keep wavering in his ideas and thoughts, then the root chakra is weak, and we need to help the person by working on the root chakra. The person who is not able to connect very well with his or her own sexuality, or who is very shy, who is not very open in these areas, then the navel chakra would have to be worked on. A person who's very is struggling with his identity, is not able to take control of his life, is easily gives away his powers to others and can easily be taken for granted, is not a very assertive person, then the solar plexus is weak. We have to help the person with the solar plexus. A person who is very emotional, who is unable to overcome grief, gets hurt very easily, and is very sensitive to situations, is a touch me not. We need to help the person by working on the heart chakra. A person who is in denial, who is not able to accept things easily, who likes to live in a fantasy kind of a world, we would have to work on the throat chakra. It is the person who cannot express himself, keeps things to himself. We have to work on the throat chakra. A person who is not very focused, who wavers, is here. It's different from the root. The person is not very focused, is not able to decide his goal, is not able to connect and understand what his inner self wants. We need to work on the Ajna chakra. A person who gets easily attached to his thoughts, attached to his words, he's not able to move on, attached to emotions, attached to experiences, we have to work on the crown chakra. Now, generally, we all know that which whatever issues that I just now spoke, they may not come to us as ailments, as psychological ailments. So when we look at psychological ailments, then there are certain protocols where we would work on the chakra per se, developing clearing the negative thought entities, then working on the web of the chakra, and then energizing the chakra, and then providing the chakra with a chakra shield. And the protocol will be followed for the ailments, disorders like bipolar or anxiety disorder, phobias. We have a specific protocol for every ailment, and that would be followed. Now, if we are talking about whatever I just mentioned with certain limitations which we are aware ourselves, then if we know the technique of healing, then we can apply it on our own selves, and we would be able to better ourselves in all these areas. So when you look at it generally, for example, if you take the person who's having insecurity, as I said, the root chakra will be weak, but at the same time, even the solar plexus chakra will be weak and will need to be worked on, because solar plexus chakra is a chakra for power or identity. A person who has a lot of fears will not have a clear understanding of his or her own identity. So the solar plexus will also have to be worked on. A person who has a lot of fears will be attached to his thoughts and feelings. So the crown also will have to be worked on. So that way, if you look at it, for a single issue, you would have to work on multiple chakras. And the best way would be to recognize, identify which chakra is weak for whom, and work on that chakra according to the status quo of each chakra for that particular individual. So aura healing can be used as a very useful supportive healing technique for counseling and therapy. Why? One thing is, it is a non-touch form of healing. We are not required to touch the human being, because we are working on the energy field, and the energy field is out and beyond the physical body. It helps in identification of deep-rooted issues. So a person who comes in for counseling and the person has certain hesitations, is not able to be vocal about his or her concerns, a good healer will be able to diagnose the problems even without the person being vocal about it. You can even go down deep and identify deep-rooted issues. Clearing of issues that are difficult to handle in a counseling session will be the healing can be used to clear those issues, because in a counseling session, the person is conscious, we talk about it, and it makes the person relive the trauma. Whereas in healing, when we are clearing the chakras, the client does not go through a trauma per se. Multiple issues can be handled simultaneously. So for example, a person has come to you, and then probably the person say is having fears, and he has come to you for fears, but at the same time, the person is having some very bad constipation problem, which probably is feeling shy and may or may not have shared it with you. But since you are able to diagnose, you would see where the chakras are having a problem, and you would be able to heal both of it simultaneously. So that is the advantage or the benefit of aura healing. Instant relaxation. Always when the healing is going on, the client would immediately start relaxing. It strengthens the client's resilience. The client starts immediately feeling the resilience develops. And it's an amazing technique to prevent burnout in therapists. Yes, as therapists, as interventionists, the interventionists need a very, very effective tool to help them to prevent burnout. And aura healing is a wonderful tool which can be used to prevent burnout. Helps in preventing carrying of emotional baggages of clients. So again, this is for the therapists. Many a times after a therapy session, involuntarily or subconsciously, many interventionists do carry the baggage of their clients. And that can be prevented by using the techniques of aura healing. So with this, I complete my session. It is literally a bird's eye view. And in case you have any queries, you have any questions, please do come forward. I'll be happy to respond.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very crisp presentation. I think it could have been much more elaborate, I think, because it, as you said, it's a bird's view.
Yeah.
Of all the because the energy systems and chakras and all. But to understand these are very complex topics. So
True.
maybe we can take it up in detail.
Any questions?
Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself, or you can put in chat box, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute yourself. It was really wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
It was very brief due to time constraint. This is very much required actually, basically. We are not focusing much on these topics.
So, actually, as we wait for somebody to ask the question, I could just share this with you. I did once the session on, I did a workshop on aura healing. It was a one-day workshop for some students in a college in Chennai. And the receptivity of the students was very, very poor. Whereas if you see, energy healing, Reiki, or these kind of interventions are given as courses in different universities abroad. University of Minnesota provides an online course on energy healing and energy interventions. So it's very important for us to understand that, yes, it does have a scientific base. True, the research is still very limited in this area. We need more people to do research. We need more foundations to give us, to fund us to do this research. But definitely there is a lot of science behind it. Definitely there is a lot of impact. Otherwise, the West would not be, advocating this for their own for their own patients. Even in University of Michigan, the cardiologist departments, they have done a lot of research about how this can be used for cardiology patients. Whereas here we are yet to accept it as part of an intervention in our own country.
Yes, you rightly said. We lost a lot of our Indian traditional knowledge system because of lot of miscommunication and ignorance towards our own culture and traditions and Indian tradition knowledge systems. So we lost most of the things which are practiced by Westerners. Especially now what we see all are there in our ancient practices. Nothing is new. Only new is it is coming in a new name. We are adapting that, and we have research something done over there, and we are slowly trying. What we are doing is we are trying to just do research. I mean, it is always there. We are trying to just uncover or rediscover what was there.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to start from basics and try to create more knowledge on our own culture and tradition and how they were useful and how scientific is it, because a lot of people doesn't know because all these were very scientific, because otherwise people will not follow from thousands and thousands of years.
Absolutely.
It couldn't work, and across the time, across the space, they were still valid even now.
Absolutely.
So that itself says these all are evidence based.
True.
No other Western practice has evidence based one which is not even 100 years or 50 years old.
True.
And we have thousands and thousands of years old evidence based. Only recording is we have been doing it orally. Very few we have documented it, but this documentation process also came from West only. Our tradition is oral tradition, where we can recite an entire book from starting title to ending the credits. But even we can't find even one professor who maybe his own book he cannot start. We have Vedas where we can chant without any mistake. But we can't see any professor who can read his own book from starting to ending quoting. So these all we have to educate among ourselves, and this knowledge which has been lost in the process, because it is our own knowledge, someone else is advocating and bringing it back to us, and we are like we don't know anything, and we again start reading, learning, and even that is also to an extent an incomplete thing, because original sources are from us only.
And that, but then the unfortunately, as I said, this has been my experience, that we do not have any funding available to do research in chakras and healing, etc. And even colleges do not really encourage. And even one college where I did go to do the workshop, the students were not receptive. So this is the unfortunate situation. Yes, Mary Florence, you have raised your hand, please. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, Mary ma'am, please go ahead.
Hi ma'am. Actually, how much we hear from you na? So much I've heard in 5 o'clock seminar also. But it's very more to learn about this chakra healing and inner healing and all. How much you learn also is not enough. Like it's too much. And unless we know fully, only we can ask doubts. But I'm every time learning from what and all sessions. Every time when your session come in 5 o'clock, here everywhere I'm learning. Unless I become perfect, only I can ask a question. But wonderful, lot of takeaway, lot of learning.
Thank you.
I loved you in the 5 o'clock seminar also, ma'am, because a lot of information you had given. I personally called you also now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of takeaway. When I become perfect, then I will ask you question. But yeah, this chakra and this and all I'm learning every time. Anybody takes anywhere, I'm learning still. So
thank you.
A wonderful session, ma'am. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, please? Any doubts?
Would like to ask any queries, comments? Feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand. Actually, one observation, especially because I am also into Indian traditional knowledge systems. But unfortunate, it's very unfortunate that we being Indians also, we are not promoting in the very first place. So generally funding always comes from other countries, or where even the most of the research publications, what we see, because I am also into academics, so I know where exactly fund comes from. So these all come from Western sources. They fund only which they are of their interest. They don't bother about other things. Even if that comes also, then because we can see most of the things where we put on a very good proposal also, they do not give funds. So it is our responsibility. We have to take up, we have to approach philanthropists, and we have to come up with it. So even it may be sample may be less, 10, 20 is also fine. But when we document and we try to present, there are a lot of platforms now. So earlier there was a lot of monopoly where even Indian authors, the very senior professors were not even allowed to present a paper. That kind of there earlier, but now the entire scene has changed. Now we are also having our own platforms, journals, and now people are reaching to us because I mean that monopoly is no more there. Now we don't have just couple of journals which we need to publish, because we have better articles than them. Even world is recognizing that. So maybe because when you are doing such a wonderful work, it should not be limited to that you are looking for some funding or some journal publication. So I think maybe because you are doing a lot of efforts in that and you have put almost your half of life into it, I think maybe you need to use such platforms like these, or any conferences, wherever you're, because in maybe funding is an aspect, maybe you have to approach in a different way to the philanthropist or the organizations, or maybe you have to have a different approach. So if you can generate more such research, at least by seeing you, because you have been so 2 to 3 decades, you are putting lot of effort. That's not so easy to do research and continuously on that. So I think maybe if you can think over it and you can try to make it in a better way, I mean, in terms of others also motivating and taking up research, training practitioners. Maybe see what happens is uh, because we are also like I'm say sharing my personal observation. When we also approached like Indian knowledge tradition system, no one was willing. Now the government has to pitch in. Earlier, no government was supported, but now this fortunately, our Modi government is there. They are introduced, and even IITs, IIMs today have Indian knowledge systems as part of that. So it is. I mean, we have to advocate for that. That is also our responsibility when we have chosen such a topic. So definitely, it's more of our responsibility. What I personally feel.
Sure.
Maybe that is what we are also doing with this platform. So we are also planning to come up with a exclusive platform also on Indian knowledge systems, like a webinar series like this, where we are inviting our scholars from Vedas, Upanishads, and also we are going to have Indian psychology, and where we can connect all these which are there existing. We can connect to the scientific knowledge which we are. So these platforms only help us. Actually, in fact, there is no. I mean, there is no such platform. I mean, earlier it was there, but now there is no such platform. And moreover, also, if we keep all other things aside, we don't need much funding also for these things. And we also, because we are doing few programs which requires lakhs of rupees and few which needs just hundreds of rupees or thousands of. So maybe in that way also, because I thought you were doing so much and not well recognized. So it gives me a lot of pain. These many years, I mean, it's not being recognized or credited when you are working on these systems. So it gives us a lot of pain and agony that why these things are happening. So maybe these kind of initiatives can help us.
Sure.
So thank you, ma'am, once again for joining us and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Wish you all the success.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We once again thank you on behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing for joining us and sharing your wonderful thoughts. And we look forward whenever your time permits. Maybe you can use this platform also. We welcome you. Maybe
sure, thank you.
Time permits, you can try to disseminate knowledge through these platforms as well.
Sure, sir.
It can reach some more people. Maybe some more people might gain interest into this.
It will be my honor. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Once again. So participants, you can find the feedback link in the chat box. You can fill the feedback form. And within 15 working days, we'll be issuing the certificates. Before leaving the webinar, kindly fill up the feedback form. the same time, we have a feedback form in Zoom platform as well. Kindly fill up that form as well. It's in the form of poll. Kindly request you to fill both the forms, Google link form and also the Zoom platform feedback. In another 5 minutes, we'll be closing. Quickly fill up the feedback form in Zoom platform and also the Google form. Everyone is requested to fill the feedback form. We are closing the meeting now.